First thing we're going to talk about is why keywords are important and why should we analyze the keywords and make sure that we've got good keywords. We're going to kind of go through the steps of getting good keywords. The first step is to build what's called a seed list, and we'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about finding keywords, and we will actually demonstrate how you can do that. Then we're going to talk about after you find a huge list of words, then we need to weed it down to a small number of keywords that we're going to pick the best ones out of that list. And we're going to do that by comparing the number of searches versus the competition. And then we're going to talk about an exciting topic, grizzly bears or chipmunks, which I think is an exciting topic and helps to explain this a little bit better. So let's first talk about why do we want to analyze our keywords? Why is that important? If you look at the Internet and some of the statistics of the Internet, I think some important facts come out. If we look at all the websites on the Internet, and there are, gosh, gazillions of websites on the Internet, pretty much the majority of the traffic, according to statistics, over 80% of the traffic that goes to those websites on the Internet comes from the search engines. Okay, so if you've got 80% of your traffic coming from search engines, then that's going to be a pretty important thing that you should pay attention to in promoting your website and in making your website successful, because the majority of that comes from search engines. People need to find your website. When you think about, I was talking with someone the other day and I said, it's like going out on a beach. And there's so many websites, and your website is one grain of sand on that beach, and you want people to find you. And if you just blend in with all the rest of the sand on that beach, you're not going to be very successful. So you've got to do some things to differentiate yourself or separate yourself from the rest of the sand on that beach so people can actually find you. This is the way that 80% of the websites are found is off the search engines. So that's a pretty important thing to pay attention to. So let's first look at search engines and just kind of break down how they work and how keywords fit into this. So I put up on your screen a sample of a search on Google. Of course, Google's the biggest search engine out there, and so if we want to pay attention to the biggest traffic generator on the Internet, it's probably Google. It's a good place to take a look at. So let's break down this search. We've typed in a search here for dog food, and this is the search results that it's given back to us. Okay. If you look at the next screen here, I've marked out in yellow two different areas of this screen. If you look across the top here, this is paid advertising. Okay, so the listings that are shown here and down the right-hand side of the screen are all paid advertising. Now, the way that you can get your website listed in that paid advertising area is through pay-per-click advertising. And essentially what you do is you sign up for an account and you bid on keywords, and you say that you're going to pay a certain amount for keywords, and depending upon how your bids compare to the other competitors, that depends upon where you show up on this part of the search. Now, a keyword is really the search words that are typed in. If you look at somebody, what are they searching for? Okay, up here we've typed in dog food. We actually forgot to put a space in, but a dog. So we typed dog food. That's the key word. And so in developing keywords, you've got to think, what do your potential customers type into the search engine and search on? That's what the keyword. And so you want to make sure that when your potential customers, type in that search, you come up on the screen. Again, you can show up in the paid area, or if you want to show up in the main area of the search, this is called organic listings. And these listings are ranked by Google. When Google's search engines go out and analyze websites, they determine from a number of different criteria which websites are going to be placed in the first position, the second position, and down to whatever number of positions there are. So if you're in the pay-per-click area that we talked about a second ago, you're going to bid on, and the person who pays the most money, and there's some other factors involved in that as well. It's primarily what you bid on it. That's going to determine where you appear on the page. And then if you're in the organic listing, we typically call that SEO, or search engine optimization. That's going to determine where you show up in this listing. And keywords are critical in those two items. Another statistic that I think is critically important that you need to be thinking about is the fact that over 75% of the people that do a search on the search engine never go past the first page. What that's telling you is if your page, your website, is listed on page 3, 75% of the people are never going to get to you. If your web page is listed on page 2, 75% of the searchers are never going to get to you. So if you look at that, it drops off really fast the further back you are in the search engines. So what this is telling you is that you really need to be on that front page. Now, there are 10 websites listed on that front page, so you need to be in that top 10. And you need to, in order to get the most searchers to find your website. And so we're going to kind of give you the beginning of how you need to do that. And we've got another webinar that we've done entitled Search Engine Optimization Basics, or SEO Basics, which goes into further detail about that and how you need to do that. But the very first part of that is selecting the right keywords, and that gets you started into being successful at that. So search engine optimization is really nothing more than playing King of Bunker's Hill. You've got all these websites out there, and they're all vying for top placement. I don't know if you played King of Bunker's Hill when you were a little kid, but we had a big dirt pile in our yard, and we'd get on the top of that hill and knock each other off, and then we'd go back to it again, and we'd play out there all day. I'm sure my mom was not too happy with the way our clothes looked when we came back. All we were doing was trying to push the guys off the top of the hill. And with this search engine optimization, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get yourself listed in that top 10. And what you've got to do is you've got to look at your competing websites, and you've got to push them down because you want to take their spot on the top of that hill. You want to be in the top 10. Simply, search engine optimization is nothing more than playing King of Bunker's Hill for particular keywords. Then we're going to talk about, like I say, the basics of doing that. In the internet world, keywords are like the hub of the wheel. Everything rotates around that. Search engine optimization rotates around keywords. Those are critically important. They're the hub to the wheel. Pay-per-click advertising. Even if you're out working in social media marketing, YouTube, putting YouTube videos out there, you really need to think about keywords, because the whole internet world really revolves around keywords. And so keywords should be at the center of your internet marketing strategy, and it's important to select the correct keywords, okay? Because you want to select keywords that are going to work for you and that are going to help make you successful. So let's talk about the basics of how to generate good keywords. The first thing that you want to do is you want to start with what I call a seed list. And that's going to be just, you sit down and you kind of brainstorm. You say, okay, if I was my customer and I was typing in a search, what would I be looking for to find my product or my service? What would I be typing into the search engine? And so you can just sit down with a piece of paper and a pencil, and you can just make up this list. And it doesn't need to be huge, because I'm going to show you how to make it huge here in a second really easily. But you need to come up with a good basic seed list. Maybe 5, maybe 3, maybe 10, but just a good seed list of ideas that you have of what people are going to type in to get to your website, or what they would be typing in to find your product or service. Once you've got that list all created, and really you need to do this you want to start with your main page and work on that. But eventually you'll want to work through every page of your website, and you may want to have different keywords for every page on your website. You may want to create what's called landing pages, which are pages that are targeted at getting certain customers into your website and the place where they come to first. And you may want to pick certain keywords in different categories or different niches this is something that you need to do probably more than once on an ongoing basis. You'll do this process for numerous pages. Once you've got your seed list developed, the best thing to do is to use a keyword generation tool. And what that keyword generation tool will do is it will take the seed keywords that you've given it, and it will go out and it will look at other websites using that same keyword and see if they're looking for any other keywords. And so it will take that list of 2 or 3 or 5, whatever you've got, and it will give you back a lot more keywords that are related to that or similar to that as well. And there are a number of different keyword tools out there. Probably one of the best is on Google, since Google is the biggest search engine out there and they produce most of the traffic. That's probably a good tool to use, is the Google keyword tool. Here is a picture of that tool, or screen capture of that tool. It's really a basic tool. I'm going to show you how to go beyond the information that you get on it, but this is a really good place to start to give you the basic information. So if you don't do anything else, at least use this basic Google tool to do that.